So if you've been watching this channel, you know that we have extensively covered not only the moral collapse, but also the financial collapse of one of the biggest monopolies on information, Facebook. And that's why in this video, we're going to talk about how this financially constrained company, according to new reports, is somehow still investing millions of dollars to the tune of sponsoring media. Well, not really media, really journalism. And Jason, there shouldn't be any problems with a mega conglomerate corporation that many people consider a public utility, that many people consider a monopoly, to be just doling out money to the news media. There shouldn't be any conflict of interest there, right, Jason?
Well, no, obviously I want to get my news from Anderson Cooper when he's away from CNN so he can tell me how to protect myself from measles, because I'm so damn concerned that the measles are going to get me, because that's the latest fear-mongering going on in the mainstream. But don't worry, Luke. If that's not your cup of tea, Facebook News with Anderson Cooper, the perfect man to give me that news, you'll just have to go to the local news. So here's what's really interesting to me. This is in January. They say that they're going to invest $300 million to help local news survive, right, Luke? Because you know what? They feel so bad about all these scandals with Russia and the election and all the fake news that they've been promoting. It's their fault. It's their fault Donald Trump got elected. And even though Zuckerberg kind of laughed at that in the beginning, as soon as he started going to hearings and all of his practices started to come out in the media, practices, by the way, that Twitter uses and every other big tech company uses as well. I'm not condoning it. I'm just telling you they selectively singled him out for a purpose. Well, usually, Luke, I thought that shareholders, they like to do what? They like to make a profit. And when you read this article here, you find out that they are going to be in debt for $300 million this year. And it's just odd to me that 4 months later, they're in debt $300 million, but the shareholders aren't upset and raising hell, but we can invest in the news to make sure the narrative is ours. It's really odd stuff. And at the same time, I know you're going to bring up a technology aspect of this. They're expanding their surveillance capabilities to literally a cartoon level, Luke.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a little bit, but it's not odd, Jason. It's what corporations, big powers do. They buy off journalists. That's why you brought up Anderson Cooper, because Anderson Cooper specifically is working in partnership with Facebook. Facebook is bringing in all the top national media heads, including Anderson Cooper, and hosting special shows, paying them hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to specifically have original content just on their platform. And again, it's very synchronistic to have this investment of $300 million when exactly as you said, that's going to be the major loss for the company there. Major shareholders, a lot of people are not up in rage. A lot of criticism has been dealt predominantly by media officials. So what you're seeing here is Facebook trying to soften the blow. They're trying to make sure that media organizations know that, hey, we have a lot of money. We're a huge, powerful corporation that almost knows everything about everyone. You should, work with us. You should be a little bit more careful since, we finance your newsroom. There's always this underhanded thing, because I was in many newsrooms throughout my life, and there's always a thing where, hey, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Hey, don't attack the people that actually finance this operation, whether advertisers, whether it was countries, whether it was special interests, whether it was lobbyists. Like, hey, don't, you can't really do that. It was a kind of unwritten rule. And of course, this creates more unwritten rules with Facebook just buying off favorable PR. Meanwhile, local news is pretty much controlled predominantly already by the Sinclair Group. That's where we got incredible video of anchors literally reading from the same script nationwide from dozens and dozens of districts all throughout the country. You got to fast forward it just to get the clip of all of them repeating the same kind of talking points in line here. But just if everything wasn't already controlled as much as it was, if everything wasn't as squeegeed clean and bought out as it was, Facebook now is just utterly trying to become more intrusive than you would ever even freaking imagine, with a slick PR video, getting ready for, of course, Mother's Day, very conveniently, showing you, of course, a bunch of celebritards using this new amazing technology. And Jason, we should play a little bit of this video, because this is, when you look at the context of this, when you look at Facebook, Facebook is ultimately in the business of surveillance. That's where they make most of their money. That's why they're so powerful. That's why there's so much money put into them, because they surveil you. And now they literally want you to put a camera in your home next to your bed. And the technology here is absolutely terrifying. Should we just play a little bit of this?
Well, I did. They were just watching this as you talked, Luke. So
but we should play some of the audio, because it's just really utterly ridiculous. The camera specifically tracks everywhere you go. Like specifically looks for you, look who's talking, listens to you. And the amount of severe ramifications here are absolutely terrifying, because Facebook not only tracks what you do on Facebook, people need to understand this. Facebook tracks everywhere you go on the internet. They buy your data from banks, from apps, from phones, to correlate it in their larger databases, and even track what you do outside of Facebook websites if you have Facebook open. You look at your phone, especially if you have an Android, the biggest processes usually are Facebook and Instagram, because of the background stuff that they're gathering information on you, which is absolutely terrifying. And even people who don't have Facebook, don't use Facebook, their information is gobbled up in their database, of course, which is curated and sold to the highest bidder. And now they want you literally having cameras in your home directly going to Facebook again. And what's really amazing about this, because looking at this at face value, looking at some of the video, look how cool and current it is. No. You are selling every aspect of your life. And if you think this won't be abused, you are absolutely insane, because not only could it be abused by Facebook, but it could be used by hackers. It could be abused by fellow workers there. Again, we're talking about every information: financial, health, location. People scan every conversation you have and build up specific databases that they sell to the highest bidder. That's just one aspect of it. All the other incredulous things that could go wrong here are astronomical, and we have to understand there's no basic laws. There's no basic pushback against this massive privacy violation, because it's, allegedly, it's voluntarily. Meanwhile, we've looked into specific things, how Facebook can manipulate your emotions, manipulate your things. But we have basic laws where people steal your mail, Jason. They steal your mail. They could go to jail for a federal crime. They steal all of your other information. They're seen as a successful corporate technological head in our country, when it's absolutely the total opposite of that. That's what I had to take on it. But that video, again, that Mother's Day video, absolutely stunning.
Yes, and as we were showing you that, I want to get into that too, but just to go back to your point that they share the data on your friends. So if you don't have Facebook, it actually did come out that if your friends had Facebook running on their phone and you were interacting with them perhaps through another app, perhaps through text messaging, even phone calls, that data would also be harnessed by Facebook. So they were collecting data on people that were not users of the app. I want to make that extremely clear. Now, when we were watching this Mother's Day thing, it comes in two models, Luke, and like you said, this actually tracks the motion. It was showing you. Think about this camera. This is why, this isn't enough anymore. The fact that everybody does FaceTime calls or even on their iPad, that's not enough. We want something sitting in your home, a la the Jetsons, where it just sits there and it literally monitors all around, where it can zoom out, follow motion while you're not using it. Hey, it's on voice command and you want to talk to somebody, literally, this seems like dinosaur era now. There's actually buttons on this. There's no buttons on the other devices. So, what I watched as a kid has now come to fruition in every single way. And listen, you already know that Facebook does not protect your information. Why would you want to put a camera that surveils you on a massive level in your home like this?
Yeah, but they got, what is that, Doogie Howser? That's Doogie Howser, right?
Doogie Howser, MD, or the How I Met Your Mother guy, and
yeah, they got
talking
Doogie
to his
Howser,
mom
Snoop Dogg's mom. Who else? They got a whole bunch of famous mothers there, and look, that's so cool. Look, and they're pretty much, I think they're catering to kind of the boomer audience. Yeah, you're very familiar with the boomer culture.
Listen, I'm not going to get in this
because
argument.
Because millennials are leaving. Millennials are leaving Facebook. Even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez deleted her Facebook, which I actually did a whole video on
She's
yesterday.
Not a boomer, dude. She's not even close to a boomer. What
I'm
are you
saying
talking
you're a boomer. But regardless of that, I think I'm more of a bloomer. But that's a whole. We have again outside discussion here. But on a more serious level, I just sent you an institute policy paper talking about some of the greater ramifications here, not just advertising to boomers and millennials and all that other stuff, but the larger aspect that should be considered here is, of course, what is already happening in places like Pakistan. This Institute policy paper even talked about how Facebook, this is their title, Facebook still championing blasphemy laws, and how people are ultimately sentenced to death in places like Pakistan because of supposed blasphemous posts. And the level of participation with Facebook and the government is still very unclear. But obviously, there have been direct coordination, direct not only interactions, not only participations, but larger kind of exercises conducted together with Facebook and government that, of course, work hand in hand. A lot of the earlier seed funding also came from very, very shady places, which people link to, of course, intelligence agencies. But that's a whole different topic as well. The bigger takeaway here that I want to kind of end this on is that Facebook knowingly works and participates with governments, and when they have such a huge database on you, the levels of implications, the levels of control, the levels of how this could go wrong are huge, and they're absolutely terrifying when you look at the larger scale of everything, with your financial, with your health, with your locations, with every communication, every little detail about your existence, detailed, curated, collected, the level of misfortune that is possible here is terrifying to even speculate. Jason, that's my take on it. What else do you have to say, and do you want to end it here?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, while you're talking about censorship in other countries and people with blasphemous posts, right now with the Sri Lanka situation, there is a mass censorship on WhatsApp, Viber, Facebook, and now the government is even blocking VPN sites like TunnelBear. This should alarm everybody. And with Facebook going lockstep in this direction of censorship and selling data to the highest bidder or the apps that work with them the most closely. We've done the videos on these guys. Go check it out. I just say this: use it as a tool. Don't keep it on all the time. Realize everything you're posting online is tracked, traced, databased, sold, analyzed, you name it. And I would be very wary of putting a 24/7 surveillance camera that is hooked into the internet, high definition, that can zoom in and out, listen to you all the time, in your home. Think it's a bad idea. That's just me. That being said, we are doing 4 videos a day. I believe this week we are actually going to put 2 on the main and 2 on the backup at a time. We were doing 3 on the backup and 1 on the main, but we're going to see how this works out. Please check them all out. If you're not subscribed to Pulse Change, do so. If you're not subscribed to We Are Change, do so. Ring that bell. Share this stuff on social media. And most importantly, get out there and be the change you want to see in the world.